The following is a presentation of TSN Motorsport in association with Players Racing and Molson Canadian.
For one weekend of the year, Toronto becomes the center of the motor racing world. It's the Molson Indy. Record crowds have come for the Indy cars, but they'll also stay in their seats for this one. Enduroseries racing on TSN. It's fender-to-fender road racing. Up to 50 cars on the track at the same time. Chevrolet, Ford, Porsche, Mazda, Ferrari, Honda, Nissan, Toyota. They're all here and many more. Showroom stock racing at its very best. Enduroseries on TSN. And hi again, everyone. Vic Roeder along with John Powell in Toronto this time for race 4 as Sony Mini Disc presents Enduroseries. And before we take a look at the starting lineup, John, why don't we recap the last race in Montreal, the Molson Grand Prix.
And what a race it was, the Grand Prix de Montreal. And there they were right at the start. Oh, Ludwig Heimrath gets punted out of the way by Benoit, and off they go. The Mustang of Lockhart takes the lead. Maxwell is second. Wilden pushed to third, and Theetge is fourth. Wilden later on would have throttle trouble that would stick, and he would go into the tire wall and not have a good race. This new Enduro Series format is a sprint format more than an endurance format, and boy, big fields, very exciting racing. But the story in Montreal was this car, the black car of Ludwig Heimrath, passing the Strudwick Firebird of Claude Poirier. An astonishing run from 13 all the way to first. Here's Heimrath closing in on Scott Maxwell, a very accomplished, very fast Mustang driver, following Lockhart. There goes Ludwig. He seemed to have an edge, a little bit of edge. Now Ludwig, very, very fast as we come into the west hairpin here, series of S's. There goes Ludwig from in front of Maxwell and right behind Lockhart. Ludwig Heimrath, a great driver, a great car. These Porsches have fantastic brakes, great handling, but he seemed to have an edge over everybody else. Now they like to say that old age and treachery will overcome youth and skill, but you know what? Ludwig didn't have it easy. Here, he went in, tried to go around Lockhart. Lockhart took it back again. It was still a close race, but everywhere you watched this black number 7 Porsche, he seemed to have a lot of top end. As they come through the new part of the course, right behind Lockhart. Look at the momentum that Heimrath has. Pulls out, whoa, right beside Lockhart, and he's gone. In post-race inspection after the race, they determined that Ludwig Heimrath's Porsche had illegal cylinder head modifications. I'm not sure what they were, Vic, but I suspect that they had opened up the ports in the cylinder head, undercut the valves, perhaps raised the compression. All this would give that Porsche more power, particularly on the top end. And as he's shown here, hounding Benoit, he seemed to match up the distance awfully quick. Look at the brilliant pass here. Right inside, and he's gone. Ludwig had some momentum here. Momentum is power. You gotta drive it. I mean, take nothing away from Ludwig Heimrath. He drove his heart out. He had a great race, but that Porsche had an edge, and the technical inspectors determined that that edge was not correct. Ludwig Heimrath took the checkered flag in a brilliant display, 13th to first.
And heading into race 4, it's the team of Wilkins and Wilden leading the Grand Sport drivers class. Wilkins actually with more points. They drive a 96 Firebird. The sport class, Gunther Schmidt and his Jetta on top by 1 point over Peter Karpenko. And in touring, it's James Hold'em by 10. Hold'em driving that 93 Corrado. Today's Enduroseries race is presented by Sony Mini Disc, the recordable compact disc. By Speedy Auto and Window Glass, over 170 locations across Canada. At Speedy, we care. And by Presto, more than just an antifreeze. Welcome back to Toronto as Sony Mini Disc presents Enduroseries on TSN. A field of 49 will take the green flag on the front row on pole. From Jacksonville, Florida, Shawn is with Michelle Craig.
The competitors have given me some help here, and I was fortunate enough to put some of them behind me and make it on the pole. Real happy.
So what's your experience in racing?
Well, for the last 5 years, I've been running in IMSA in the States and run predominantly Corvettes, so I was able to use that experience here with Enduroseries.
Outside row 1, the silver Mazda RX-7. That's Benoit Theetge, won in Montreal. His co-driver, Didier Schraenen.
He called me a couple of days ago and asked me if I can drive his car for 20 minutes at the end of the race because it's a split race this weekend. And I said, why not? For sure. I just gonna have 15 minutes of practice on the car, but my job is mainly to bring back the car in one piece with decent times and trying to keep the car in the same position that he will let me when it's gonna be my time to drive.
Inside row 2, it's the Camaro of Rolf and Engelbrechten and Peter Cohen.
Hopefully we won't get caught up with anybody because here with the walls and street circuit, of course, it's very tough to pass, so you have to get out in front right away.
Outside row 2 in the orange, white, blue Porsche, Stefan Veilleux and Peter Overing.
Do you think with so many cars on the track there will be a lot of accidents, especially at the start?
Yeah, this thing is possible because with the 50 car on the grid, so you have to make careful to the first corner and to make sure to make the first lap and finish the race. That's the thing.
As we look at row 3 and 4, inside row 3 in that Ford Mustang Cobra, Peter Lockhart, who used to drive a BMW.
The higher output versions of Camaros, Firebirds, and Mustangs made us feel that we would not be competitive with the BMW any longer. So in a search for a new car, we elected to go with the Mustang Cobra SVT, which is a new car to the series this year. It's built by the Multimatic people who have built cars for Scott Maxwell in the past, and they're a highly successful engineering firm.
Inside row 5 in the number 94 Grand Sport Firebird. That features Catherine Teasdale, one of Canada's most experienced and successful female racers. The Poirier brothers in their number 6 Camaro are outside row 7. Ludwig Heimrath, the disqualified winner of Montreal, starts outside row 10. Top sports class, Hébert and Montmagny in their number 89 Eagle Talon SI. Scott Maxwell is back in row 12. He was in Sears Point also this weekend. Row 13, Rob Thorndike. The number 15 Trans Am usually does better than this. Row 15 and 16 highlighted by Gunther Schmidt. Inside row 16, he's the points leader in sport class. Row 17 and 18 feature the top touring class car, the Wilden brothers, Ron and David in their VW Corrado. Row 19 has Paolo Dalcin, one of Canada's top 1,600 drivers in sedans now. Row 21 has Jim Kenzie, the automotive writer for the Toronto Star Wheels section. And on through the final car in this field of 49, all alone in row 25, the Camaro of Ricky Calderon and Chris McEwen.
The pace car lights are off. We've got lots of Sony handicaps on board today with Raël's pole sitter for one.
Benoit Theetge, his Mazda alongside front row.
The number 88 Stefan Veilleux Porsche 911 on the outside of the second row.
Along with number 5 Peter Lockhart's Mustang Cobra.
We have a rear-facing camera on Ludwig Heimrath's 968.
Remember, he won in Montreal, was disqualified. The roof cam is on Richard Spénard's number 32.
Number 97 Jason Lee starting 16th in a Camaro from inside.
The number 67 co-driven by David Thorndike, and Major General Lou Mackenzie starts 24th.
The sports class Volkswagen of Gunther Schmidt starting in 31st.
We talked about the Toronto Wheels section driver Jim Kenzie in Jeff Lorman's Hyundai Elantra, 42nd on the grid.
And Tony McGrath will start the number 19 Nissan NX 2000 in 43rd.
So the leaders are getting ready to take the green flag. A 45-minute timed race. Mandatory driver change must take place in the middle. We're watching now and waiting for the green flag. 49 cars at the Molson Indy Toronto, and here they come down the start-finish line and head into turn 1 at the Prince's Gate.
It's a Lakeshore Drive traffic jam, and oh, there goes Von Engelbrechten, locks up and pushes the Porsche to the outside, takes the position away.
Boy, Stefan Bayeux did very well. He was forced to the outside, now through turn 1, through 2, and they'll hit the Lakeshore Straight, the fastest part of the Molson Indy circuit for the very first time. You talk about rush hour. We've got it here in this Enduro Series as the leaders come by. Shawn Rolf, followed by Benoit. Oh, bumper coming off. Bumper coming off that Tim Horton Camaro. Richard Spénard, they go into turn 3 for the very first time, and they're locking them up again.
We had 4 movements there as they came down Lakeshore Drive. And it was the Camaro, Wilden, Von Engelbrechten dropped 3 positions just in one corner. Now that bumper coming off must have really upset things. But we're back behind the wheel. Shawn Rowe leads in the LT1 Corvette.
Backside of this circuit in Toronto is now we ride along with Benoit, Theetge, the winner in Montreal, and trying to close up under braking as they come through what will be the new section of this track. John, remember that sweeper, one of the fastest in all of racing, number 11, that's gone. So now it's really a series. Oh, we have the number 42 of Jeff Pabst in the Porsche 968. He kisses the wall, and here they come down the start-finish line again.
We're on board with Richard Spénard. That Sony Handycam gives us a great shot as Spénard gobbles up the difference and closes on Lockhart through corner 1.
Look at that, trying to fit 3 through turn 1, and they won't. And there's that bumper. The bumper actually comes off the number 2 96 Camaro with Robin Buck and Paul Duckworth.
And
so
you can tell why it's missing.
Yeah.
Buck has made it up from 12th to the 5th place in just half a lap.
And a yellow has come up. We had, of course, Pabst's car hitting the wall. We have tires being cleared up, other bits of debris by the marshals who do a wonderful job. The number 42 of Jeff Pabst and David Lacey in their Grand Sport 92 Porsche 968. The leader continues to be the pole sitter. That, of course, is the number 9 of Shawn Rowe, the Raël car, the 92 Corvette, out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Now, Buck has dropped behind Wilden's car, the red Firebird, so that's moved up a spot. Lots of excitement in the first lap here as we see the Corvette, the Mazda, and the Mustang, and then all those Camaros.
Now, here's the start as they come into one, and look at them lock it up. As Stefan Bayeux is forced to go to the outside, and they do go 3 wide.
And Buck picked up about 5 positions right through corner 1.
Now we're looking for this bumper. At first we thought it was Spénard, but no, it comes off the number 2 of Robin Buck and Paul Duckworth, the Camaro. And luckily that doesn't do more damage as it finds a spot on the outside and cars locking it up. There you see one of the Ferraris, and look at the tire. That probably comes off the tire wall and goes up and over the Ferrari. That's why they're so aerodynamic.
And we're on board with David Thorndyke's car as they go down into the corner, looking from his point of view. There goes the Pabst Porsche cut across, but he got bumped. That's it. He couldn't make that line. It was an inside pass, ran out of the road, being into the wall. Thorndyke's laughing, and Pabst is out of the race.
So we're under yellow here, very early in this 45-minute timed event at the Molson Indy Enduro Series racing on TSN. Welcome back to Toronto as Sony Mini Disc presents Enduro Series on TSN. We're still under yellow, still early, as the crews try to get the number 42 of Jeff Pabst off the wall. While we have a moment, here's Michelle Craig.
Well, right now things may seem relatively quiet here in pit lane, but that's only because all the cars are out on the track racing. But look out, because between the 15 and 30-minute period of today's 45-minute long race, all of the teams have to come in and complete that mandatory pit stop where they change drivers. But they want to be in and out of here very quickly, maybe 25, 35 seconds maximum. To be quick during this procedure, they have to practice. And yesterday, we caught up with the team in the paddock doing just that. Here's Peter Lockhart with today's Speedy Autoglass Window on Racing.
Here we are at the Molson Indy. We're ready to do a pit stop. As I come down the pit lane, I loosen off my belts one after the other and undo my belt. Here we go. Go. I get my belts off, Rolf undoes the radio and the net. I'm out of the car. Rolf is in. Randy, our crew member, assists Rolf, getting his belts on, plugging his radio in. Here you go. A lot of belts to put on. 5-point harness. In goes the radio. Rolf is all set. He's tightening down his belts now. Randy puts the net back in. The door gets closed and we're done.
Unlike our 40-minute sprint races where there are no driver changes, a precision pit stop well done can really affect the outcome of this race. And having the best car and having the best drivers is all part of it, but doing the pit stop right is definitely going to make the difference today.
Interesting to note, John, they did that stop for us in 27 seconds. Afterwards, they got it down to 17, so their practice has paid off. What have you noticed about the lap charts?
Well, we're under yellow, but look at the big changes. Buck moved all the way up from 12 to as high as 4th, lost his bumper. He's currently in his pace lap. He's running in 5th. Bayer has dropped all the way to 10th. He's in the 911. You can see it there just in the middle of your screen. So lots of changes here in that first lap.
And strategy, oh, so important when you consider there are 49 cars on the track. You know, if you're somebody like Robin Buck, Paul Duckworth, you start 12th, you're up to 4th, right now you're 5th. So what is the strategy for somebody like Paul Duckworth?
There's so many cars out there. Do you think it's going to be a rough start?
For Toronto, we're really thinking about a survival strategy. Robin Buck's going to be starting in the number 2 car, and our basic strategy is just going to be Robin's going to try and keep his nose clean, make sure if there's any big accidents that we're not in them, and then I'm going to jump in the car and finish up.
Well, the strategy was nice, but it didn't happen. One guy who has stayed constant, Claude Poirier in the number 94 car, started 9th, he's still 9th. So keeping his nose clean.
And let's remember as well, yellow flags in a 45-minute timed event do not help you because all that timing is lost, the racing is lost, and if you're in the back of the field, you lose time to catch up. They continue to clean up the car of Pabst. It's all about staying out of trouble on such a tight circuit.
Our main goal right here is to simply finish the race. If we get into a situation with a yellow flag, something we want to try to avoid, so the first 5 laps, our main goal is just survival. At that point in time, what's going to happen, Robin will be starting in Paul's car, and he'll just jump out of his car at the 15-minute mark and essentially jump right back into mine and then finish the race. With our driver combination, we hope for quite a good success, and mainly finishing is the goal.
You know, they finally have Pabst's car on the record. This is something I don't understand. Why don't they use the hooks in North America like they do in F1?
Well, it'd be very, very difficult to put a chain underneath the roof of a car without doing serious damage on a sedan. It's not like a roll cage. And I don't think we'd want that.
But it just takes an awful lot of time to get the car off the track. And again, in a 45-minute race, so much time spent under yellow. As you look at the pace car out, and the leader continues to be the pole sitter, Shawn out of Florida, with Benoit Theetge right behind in his Mazda RX-7.
The pace car has the 1 lap, so the pace car is going to be coming in as we look from the pole sitter's viewpoint, getting ready, and you're going to drop back a little bit, as you can see from this car. As soon as the lights go out, looking at Teague, as soon as the lights on the pace car go out, you'll see Shawn dropping back a little bit and then taking a run. And if Teague wants to be on turbo boost, so he's going to follow him to keep up. My guess is Lockhart's the guy that's going to have better throttle response than Teague. He's going to, if there's Lockhart's, he's going to get on it even earlier. So we're going to have a lot of anticipation here as they weave around, keeping their tires warm, waiting for the lights to go out on that 97 Pontiac Grand Prix pace car.
Now we're with Ludwig Heimrath as we look back from his car. Heimrath, of course, the winner in Montreal, but disqualified, currently running in 10th place. The lights are out. They'll come now through this new turn 11. It's much more of a left-hander. It isn't that sweeper that it used to be. Here they come through 10. Now this is the 11th turn. Remember how fast it used to be? Now it's a little bit more demanding. It's more of a left-hand turn. They're coming down. We're waiting for the green flag. And here we are. We're back in racing, and it will be Shawn. And look at the jump, and look at how well Benoit Theetge looks to the inside line, gets the squeeze, and Rowe manages to hold on.
tries and doesn't succeed. But look at the Firebirds and Camaros behind, all trying to jockey the position and get past Lockhart.
Oh, we've got Paul Sharp, the number 81, 92 Swift GT. Paul Sharp, along with Joseph Indovina in touring class, and he's out. And hopefully no yellow.
And Wilden's car has dropped right back. Something's happened there. Now he's dropped about 7 positions, 8 positions. I'm still looking. Wow, he's down to 14th. Something went on.
You saw the number 7. That was the Porsche of Ludwig Heimrath squeezed to the inside as they went around turn 3 and up the hill and back into what is exhibition place here in Toronto.
And Spénard putting on an awful lot of pressure on that Mustang of Peter Lockhart.
Benoit, Lockhart, followed by Spénard. Interesting. Corvette, Mazda, Mustang, Camaro, all the manufacturers represented. Down the backside now as we see, look at Rick Vine, that number 44 inside of Stéphane Veilleux.
He just smokes him. There's something wrong with Veilleux. Another in-car shot. There goes Heimrath. Inside, car number 5.
Von Engelbrechten is passed.
As they come through, one more lap in the books as they cross the stripe. Corvette leading and pulled out a bit of a margin. Shawn, a bit of a margin over Theetge. And there we go. Mustang guarding the inside. There goes Spénard on the outside. Braking, turning in. Wow, Spénard and Lockhart, 2 antagonists going hard at it.
Well, 2 veterans, of course, of Canadian racing from their days in the... Oh, to the inside!
That's the black Camaro of Ed Fukushima from Thunder Bay. He had the corner Vic, he gave it up. As he rubbed fenders with number 15, that was Nick Holmes, he backed off the throttle. That's the difference between Spénard as he goes on the outside of Mustang, driven by Lockhart. You know Spénard will never back off.
As Spénard continues to pressure Lockhart, and we look down the full field rundown. Shawn Rowe is currently leading. That's in the Grand Sport. Hébert and Montmagny in Sport Class, and the Wilden brothers in Touring.
Look at Spénard catch up with that Mustang every time they come in the corners.
The first pit stop, Jim Kenzie in Touring, the number 86, 96 Elantra. Of course, Kenzie, the automotive writer for the Toronto Star Wheel section, and he'll hand off for Jeff Lorriman. And as we saw earlier with Peter Lockhart, one of the crew inside to help. The driver helps, the crew helps, buckle them up, get it all hooked up. And now the Elantra is back. Benoit Theetge tries to get by Shawn Rowe on the backside of the track.
Now look at that. They're so closely matched, Vic. The move was unsuccessful, but he's backed off. And Shawn Rowe has a little bit of breathing space. And of course, Teague is now going to be caught up by Lockhart, who's got his own problems. He's got King Richard Spénard right up his tailpipe.
Richard Spénard, who of course runs the Players Limited Canadian Development Drivers School, tries the outside, and we have a car off. That's the number 70 in sports class. The 300 ZX of Ian Phillips and Charlie Downs.
Let's look inside and see what happened there. They got, a big hit into the tire walls.
As we ride along with Gunther Schmidt, this all happening in front of Schmidt's Volkswagen Jetta.
Great job avoiding all that.
The little bump, and that was on that back side, turn 6, as they make the turn, the right-hander, down to the S's that brings them back to the front straight.
Spénard with a good run on Lockhart, and he's pinching him into the wall. That's it. And poor Lockhart practically stopped.
Oh, come on. At the end of the Lakeshore Straight, turn 3, absolutely ground him into the wall to take over third spot.
That's life in the fast lane there. Lockhart, watch his 45. Look at this. This is a classic pinch job. Now, I gave him a little bit of a shot. These are old adversaries. Lockhart saying, no.
Come on.
But Spénard had it. You know, Lockhart, to be fair, should have just punted him into oblivion. He was too much of a gentleman. And it's Teague dropping back a little bit from the Corvette, and there goes Spénard. A little squirrely. Now, pay attention here. I think Shawn Rowe is double pumping his brakes. He may be running loose on brakes, and I think Spénard's running awful loose. Teague looks pretty good.
And you can see now that the faster cars. Oh, the number 36 of Gord Cullen is into the tire walls in that Volkswagen. He'll get it sorted out. But the faster Grand Sport cars are quickly on some of the slower touring and sports class cars. Now this is a great example of a 3-point turn. Spénard is closing up. Now we look at the end of the Lakeshore Straight, and we watch now for Gord Cullen. Gord, turn right, Gord. Turn right, Gord. And thank goodness for tire walls. Gord Cullen.
I think he ran out of brakes. He was protecting the inside. I think he ran out of brakes. Now he's lost his spoiler. And now we have a dead Mustang on the track. And there goes Spénard inside T. And now the Camaro is second. Lockhart drops to third.
That was Sylvain Champoux in his 96 Mustang Cobra.
I tell you what, Spénard, whatever you say about this guy, he's on the march.
Now
there
we're
he
with
goes.
Spénard.
Oh,
Look at
beautiful
this.
play.
Absolutely. Uses the one car for a pick. As Theetge goes to the outside, he goes inside, and he's in second.
He better hope there wasn't a yellow out for that. As they drive, and it's still the Camaro with now a handy lead on the others. Back to the Camaro, and the Toyota MR2 of Di Francesco is just in between.
And look at the move around the slower car. Uses the back marker, and all the leaders go through. Wonderful move by Richard Spénard. Your leader continues to be Shawn. Here comes the Camaro of Richard Spénard.
And Teague wants it back. You see he's coming back up, trying to gain on the Camaro. The Camaro's a little bit heavier, even though Teague has 150 extra pounds as a takeoff from Montreal. Let's watch Lockhart as he chases.
Now listen to the engine. Is there something about this engine that we can hear? Or that just happens to be the audio out of the car?
Well, either that or the Mustang has a misfire. But all I could hear was that rotary Mazda pulling away.
And that's who we are with right now. Benoit in third spot, trying to close up on the bumper of Richard Spénard.
And Spénard is running his tires right on the edge. And he's worked really hard. The question is, can he conserve, bring those tires back, and still maintain grip? While, oops, he's got a slower car in front of him that's going to hold him up, while Teague has got a much better combination.
And remember, you talked about the weight of Benoit Theetge's car. In Montreal, there was some concern about the horsepower to weight ratio. For this race in Toronto, he's added 125 pounds. The number 62 is in. This is David Guidolin coming in, replacing his brother Ron Guidolin in their touring 1990 Corrado.
Now, Vic, I want to tell you, we're seeing these driver changes. They're getting it done fast, but it's not just the time it takes to change. It's the time that it takes to come off the track, and here comes Spénard in. So he's going to lose about 40 seconds. This is going to change the shape of the race.
So Richard Spénard is in, and he'll give way to Jeff Lapcevich in their Grand Sport 96 Camaro.
Back to the action, and somehow Lockhart's got past Theetge, and Theetge is down to third.
So obviously what we may have perceived to be a misfiring engine of that Mustang wasn't.
Well, it's obviously not bothering him as we watch this driver change. Vic, I want to emphasize the driver changes as part of it. It takes time to slow down, come in the pits, go out again. And whoa, there goes Wilden. Now we've got a mix-up shaping up here. There goes Lapcevich in the 32 Camaro. Right behind him is Wilden, down to 11th place. Wilden is a hot runner. That's a hot car.
So Jeff Lapcevich now driving the number 32, taking over for Richard Spénard. Shawn continues to lead that. Look at the lead he does have. This driver out of Florida in this beautiful Corvette.
And look about the strategy. You talk about the strategy, because what we've got is Wilden's car has dropped to 11th, but I bet you Wilkins has left him some good tires. Spénard drove the wheels off that Camaro, gave Lapcevich a car with not so good tires. Yeah, the Corvette's still comfortable in front. The question is, who is Shawn co-driver?
Well, he hasn't pitted, you're right, as the second place Lockhart car trying to hold off Theetge, currently in third place. Now this is how Peter Lockhart got by Benoit Theetge as he gets loose.
You see what happened there? His front brakes have gone away on that Mazda, and the rear brakes were locking up. He jiggled a bit. See, that's the rear brake lock up. There goes Lockhart. That's what happened.
And here again, you hear that sputtering. So do you think he might have a rev limiter?
I think, you know, just good eye there, Vic. The tack is up at 8,000 RPM. I bet you Multimatic said, Mr. Lockhart, we're going to give you a rev limiter.
And how's this for speed?
We're on the back bumper of Ludwig Heimrath's indecently, can I say that? Porsche. Indecently fast, that is, as he flies down the straightaway.
We've completed 12 laps of this 45-minute timed event. Here are all your class leaders, and remember, we lost so much time under yellow.
TSN Sunday Night Rolling Thunder, brought to you by Midas, the way it should be.
Welcome back to the Enduroseries on TSN. Vic Rowder along with Sean Powell, Michelle Craig, as we look back in the field. And our current leader is still Shawn Rowe in that Corvette, still way up ahead as we ride along now with Peter Lockhart as he gets by one of the back markers.
Gets by, and if you look closely on the left part of your screen, you can see that tack needle getting right up to the rev limiter. What we're seeing with this Mustang is it's running really close for the gearing in the corners. It can't shift up because it'll be too low, so it's right on the edge, and that's tough. Shawn Rowe, although, is not on the edge. He's got a really comfortable lead, driving this car extremely well, nicely balanced car, good tire combination, and into the pits.
So this veteran IMSA driver from Jacksonville, who has made the trip north to Toronto for this endurance race, brings it in now, and he'll give over to his team leader and team owner, Raël, this 92 Corvette. Obviously, on the pole, he's been there at the front. You know, from the way he's approaching this, you would think he's got lots of time. There's got to be a speed limit in pit lane, but you would think they would attack the change a little bit more aggressively.
Well, they're doing what they can. The big answer for this race is, how good is your co-driver? If Raël is Raël fast, we'll be okay with this Corvette, but if he's not, then you'll see him slide back.
Now, meanwhile, also in is the number 16, Benoit Theetge in that 95 Mazda gives way to Didier Schraenen. So Didier Schraenen is in and out very quickly, and they're still trying to fasten the belts on Raël. So we've had a lead change now. Peter Lockhart in that Mustang Cobra has moved into first place. And to add to the importance of the pit stops, your leader, the Corvette, Raël, still there, finds himself in third place. And Benoit Theetge, who gives over to Didier Schraenen, he actually picks up a place. He's currently in second.
Picks up a place in the pits. I got to emphasize here, the drivers are well balanced. However, watch this unfold. Lockhart's going to hand over to his co-driver, Rolf von Engelbrechten, who's already driven. Raël has taken over from Shawn Rowe. Raël obviously isn't going to be as fast, I don't think, as Shawn Rowe. This car's never sat on the pole before. Schraenen is a former 1600 driver. Very, very accomplished, but hasn't had any more than 15 minutes in this turbocharged car. Oh, and look at car number 95. That's an 86 Camaro. You see the bouncing axle?
Yeah.
That's Ed Fukushima from Thunder Bay. He's lost his front brakes. He got rear wheel lockup, and bingo, we're got some action here.
Stéphane Veilleux, we watched that from his in-car. Now we look back from Ludwig Heimrath as he gets by the number 95 of Ed Fukushima from Thunder Bay, Ontario.
It's very, very fast down the straightaway, but you know, the penalties that have been given, look at that. These Camaros really close up, even on a Porsche, into the braking. There goes Veilleux and Lee in the 97 car. These old Camaros really hanging in, prepared by Phil Strudwick Motorsports. They may be old cars, but Phil tells me they're still fast.
Is it the horsepower that keeps them competitive?
They're so darn robust. They can bounce off walls. I mean, you saw Ed. He gets axle hop. He bounces around, goes wide, gets back in, and he's still fighting. These are great cars for people, but there's a great car, this 911 Porsche, but Veilleux can't seem to make it do anything. He's steadily gone backwards in this race. And speaking of backwards, I think that's Nick Holmes in the wall. They bounced together with Ed Fukushima earlier in this race. Now Nick is in the wall here. Hopefully they'll get it going. This is the race. There, we just saw Wilden following Lapcevich. Those two guys, keep your eye on it, Camaro and Firebird.
Down the front straight, past the brand new World Trade Center being constructed at Exhibition Place, as now Peter Lockhart comes in, and he will hand it off to Rolf van Engelbrechten. Engelbrechten will get into his car, his second car of the day. Remember, he started in the number 5, the Camaro, then handed off to Peter Cohen, and now he gets in and takes over for Peter Lockhart driving a Mustang. And it's a number of drivers are doing that, driving two cars.
Once I'm behind the wheel, I really want to treat it as if that's the car I want to bring to the front, regardless of which car. I'll be starting with Peter Cohen in the number 5 Camaro and finishing with Peter Lockhart, my normal teammate, in the number 25 Mustang. It'll be interesting. We're actually starting directly ahead of the Mustang, and I'll be taking the green. So I'll just have to go and watch my mirrors.
And we watch the action here. There goes Ludwig Heimrath inside a Camaro, and enough room to go. There's Veilleux in the 911. I gotta wonder what is really going on here.
There he is. There's Nick Holmes. All kinds of problems. We saw him earlier against the wall. Now he got it fired up, and now he's into the tires. So a bad day for Nick Holmes. And here's another car in trouble. The hand up there.
They use that. They put the hand up when they're slowing down and off the pace. And there's Holmes is leaving his car. I don't know what happened there. But once you're in the tire wall, it's time to get out. Well, we're going to see a replay. He's lost his brakes. You can see that. He's lost his brakes. Either that or he's forgotten to put them on. Because look, they're both on now. No, the front brakes went away. The back brakes still have some grip. He couldn't turn it in, and that was the end of it. And we got a pit stop here. This is the Dicom car, the 911. Veilleux, who has not had a great race, is going to hand over to Peter Overing. You talked about the pit stops and the importance of doing a good change. We saw Teague gain positions when Schraenen went out, and Shawn Rowe and the Raël combination, they dropped position. These guys are not rushing.
Now this is the
This car's
problem.
On fire.
Exactly. Now he's saying, I'm coming into pit lane. That's one thing. I'm also saying, call the fire department. The number 13, Gary Brown, in that 91 NX 2000. So he did the right thing. I'm coming into pit lane. That's the signal. But also, hey, get the extinguisher ready, fellas. I got a problem.
I want to caution everybody. It's probably an oil fire. If it was a gas fire, boy, the thing would probably explode. It's probably an oil fire, and it looks like it'll go out.
And with all the shuffling, this is the Grand Sport leader in the Mazda RX-7, Didier Schraenen.
And we have a 4-car battle for the lead, because behind him is Wilden. Then there's Van Engelbrechten in the Mustang, and there goes Lapcevich in the Camaro.
And now Peter Overing makes his way back onto the track in that Dicom Porsche, having taken over from Stefan Veilleux.
So the point we got to make with these pit stops is, first of all, they take a long time, so you want to cut the time back. Secondly, you've got to have a good matched driver combination, like Wilden and Wilkins, like Schraenen and Theetge. Then finally, how good a car did you get back? Did Ricky Spénard give Lapcevich a good car with the tires okay? Does Van Engelbrechten have anything left in that Mustang after Lockhart is finished with it? That's going to decide the outcome of this race.
Now we also make mention that this car, this Mazda, after Benoit Theetge had started and gave it over to Schraenen, you questioned the brakes and whether he had much left.
That's right, Vic. The question is, how good a car did you give back when you hand it over in the pits? I think that Schraenen doesn't have a great car. Now, Wilden is driving a car. The Wilkins actually, they qualified 8th. They dropped all the way back to 11th. He looked after the car, didn't get into trouble. Now, Wilden's got a rocket to drive. Good tires. It's a hot car.
More pit stops. This is the sports leader, the 89 of Jocelyn Hebert in the 1995 Talon. He'll hand it over to Marc Momani as he enters pit lane here at Exhibition Place. On board now with Jeff Lapcevich as he makes the move into third.
A real good run, right past Van Engelbrechten in the Mustang. Boy, I guess Richard gave Lapcevich a little bit more car than I figured. But back to the action at the front. You see the little bit of a wiggle in that Mazda. Wilden is waiting, and he's going to wait patiently because Wilden's a veteran at patience, and patience is going to pay off for him here. We're on board with Schraenen. I want to emphasize, Schraenen normally drives a 1600 Formula car. Very lightweight, very agile, much better braking. This is a very heavy car, 125 pounds heavier than last time, and Schraenen may not be used to it. I think he's only had about 15 minutes in the car. Wilden has driven all sorts of cars, and he's driven a lot of Firebirds. He's got a lot of time in the car, and he's waiting. You can see it. He's just waiting for the move. Popping out. He's not going to pass that Mazda down the straightaway. He's going to keep the brakes cool as he passes out of the airstream.
Now, how close will he have to be before he does decide to make the move?
I think he's waiting. He can wait for Schraenen to make a mistake. If Schraenen makes a mistake, Wilden's gone with no effort because it's close. We've still got a few laps to go. And Lapcevich is pulling away from the Mustang. So von Engelbrechten, maybe he prefers a Camaro. I don't know. He is not getting the job done here.
As we watch this battle for first and second, Didier Schraenen, as you said, one of Canada's top competitors in 1600. Open wheel, lighter car, Formula car, Lapcevich, followed by von Engelbrechten. The difference as well in terms of car and how, it gets a little loose, but he manages to hold on. Open wheel as compared to this kind of racing.
There
goes
wheel. Wilden putting his nose in. It's like driving an elephant compared to driving a butterfly. These Formula cars are butterflies, and these cars are elephants. And
you can see the pit crew. Come on,
they're ready.
Keep it going.
That Mazda's got power down the straightaway, but there goes Wilden.
Inside turn one. No, he chops his nose off.
Wilden's patient enough to know you've got to use the right moment. He's giving him all sorts of pressure. He's right behind him.
Now there's some back markers he might be able to use. Tries to squeeze him.
Schraenen bumped him, but Wilden's hanging in there. And there's DiFrancesco in the middle in the MR2. Oh, perfect. Perfect. He's going to take it. Wilden's inside. There's a sandwich there. Oh, they hit. Schraenen got run over by the Mr. 2 there, the Toyota, and now Wilden is goodbye Charlie. He's got a breathing space because Schraenen's still hung up there.
The Mr. 2. Now here it is. The Mr. 2 Turbo. That's the car on the left. Little squeeze here. DiFrancesco, and on the right, on the inside, there goes Wilden into first place. And now Schraenen dives to the inside for turn 4, the left-hander, to get back second. But we've had a change for the lead.
And, you know, Kenny Wilden is smart because he used the traffic so well. And understand that in sport class, DiFrancesco, he's having his own battle, and he's fighting for position. So, with all due respect for those bigger cars, excuse me, we're having our own race, and you better find your own way by. And it's Schraenen who's had a costly problem here with trying to negotiate the traffic with not quite as much experience in this car, and Wilden, savvy veteran, is up front.
To put it simply, Enduro Series racing is 3 races in 1, and DiFrancesco doing all he can to win the sport class, while the Grand Sport, Wilden and Schraenen are battling for their division.
The Mustang versus Camaro battle continues. Lapcevich is leading von Engelbrechten in the Mustang, and we heard the difference. As you look at the gear ratio spreads on those 2 cars, the Mustangs are always at the top on the rev limiter, and the Camaros are always on the torque. And that's the difference here in Toronto today.
All right, the leaders go through, and now look at DiFrancesco finds himself in the middle of it again. Lapcevich to the inside of the slower car, and now, of course, von Engelbrechten has to sort of find his way through as well.
The car, actually, that DiFrancesco is dicing with is the Prelude, the number 51s. They're having a great battle there as we watch the number 36 Corrado here. And we're in car with von Engelbrechten. Look at the action. There's Lee up ahead in the 86 Camaro. The Mustang
But now Jason Lee, the 97, is in Grand Sport, the same as Von Engelbrechten. Then you also had the Sport class, Di Francesco in the 14. So there's no doubt, wherever you may be sitting at this track in Toronto, you're going to see some great racing. 3 classes.
Lots of excitement, and it's been very, very tight. And of course, the driver changes have changed the complexion of the race so much.
We've completed 22 laps. Here are your leaders. In Grand Sport, Kenny Wilden in his Firebird. In Sport class, it's the talent of Marc Momani. And in Touring, the Volkswagen of David Quidlin. Welcome back to the Enduro Series here in Toronto as we are getting close to the end. Oh, somebody getting a little loose there. And as we've seen, it's Kenny Wilden, our leader. Tires, brakes, combination.
Everything, and the pressure, because Wilden's got it. He's pacing it, and he's going well. But Schraenen, while he's dropped back a little bit, is keeping the pressure on. And this is all about pressure. Big crowds, lots of excitement, and talk of pressure. There's a Camaro in the background going offline.
Oh, look at Lapcevich trying to weave his way down the fastest part, the Lakeshore Straight here, and trying to stay in front of Rolf von Engelbrechten. And all this traffic, my goodness.
He's just trying to put that little Suzuki right between them, and he didn't succeed. Oh, maybe they touched. Von Engelbrechten touched that little Suzuki. That slowed him down, and that's all it takes to get a little more breathing space.
Absolutely no breathing space here. This is the battle for the touring lead, the 62. David Quidlin trying to hold off the 53 of Mike Kuznicki. It's Corrado against Corrado, 1990 against 1993 Corrado. The number 89, Jocelyn Hebert. That's Marc Momani now driving that car. They are the leaders, of course, in Sport. As we go back, oh my goodness, Rolf von Engelbrechten. You can see him trying to find reverse, trying to dig himself out of the tire wall.
Yeah, the Mustang found the wall, and that's all she wrote. That's the end of their day. They may be able to keep going, but they're not going to be fast.
The checkered flag is out, and Kenny Wilden will win this race here in Toronto.
Let's look at the replay. There, oh, he was going for position, and he got sucked right in. He went to the inside. Lapcevich waited for him. Engelbrechten bit the wall, and that's all she wrote.
The number 89, Marc Momani and his co-driver, Jocelyn Hebert. They are your Sport winners, and it's the Quidlin brothers who take home first place in touring as we run down all the leaderboards for you. Grand Sport, Wilden holds on to beat the team of Schraenen and Benoit.
And a big lead in the points now. What a great race.
You bet. Marc Momani is your Sport winner, and David Quidlin, along with his brother, wins in touring. Congratulations. What a race for Kenny Wilden. Yes, you are number 1. And number 1 in points as well as the team of Wilkins and Wilden lead. Wilkins by 15 over his teammate. That's in Grand Sport. In Sports class, it's the team of Hebert and Momani tied for the top at 40. While in touring, James Holton and his teammate Mike Kuznicki are the leaders there.
I think we've been here all year, you know, Greg's been leading the championship. He's got a bigger lead now, and that's what we came here to do. So great for Kangard and Trizac. It's excellent.
You guys are a great team. Greg, unfortunately, you had to spend a lot of time racing under yellow, right?
It was a bit frustrating, and then I missed a shift on the restart, and I just watched the whole field go by. I could have killed myself because I was really happy with the start and went from 8th to 5th on the start. But anyways, I can't believe my buddy got it back for us.
Anxious for Trois Rivières?
Oh, yeah, we're ready to roll at Trois Rivières. Love that circuit. Greg's very fast here, so we're going to be tough.
I was looking forward to the race, and we did our best. Unfortunately, the beginning of the race was, you know, waiting for the green. But once we got the green, we went from 7th to 2nd, and I had fun, you know.
Jeff, tell me about your race.
We had a good run. You know, I was a little disappointed. Richard did a great job as usual, and he brought the car in front, and unfortunately I couldn't keep it there, but you know, we had a good run. We'll take 3rd for now, and we'll see if we can get them next time.
It was a tight race. Even 3rd place at one point came right up behind me, and it was real tight there. All 3 of us were like right in a line, and we were all trying to protect and pass at the same time, so it was really hairy out there, and we're also watching out for the GS guys, so it was a good time.
Enduro Series on TSN is brought to you by Speedy Auto and Window Glass. Over 170 locations across Canada. At Speedy, we care. By Presto, more than just antifreeze. By Sony Mini Disc, the recordable compact disc. Congratulations to our 3 class winners. It's been quite a day here at the Molson Indy Toronto. And now we look forward to the streets around the Hippodrome at Trois-Rivières. So till then, on behalf of John Powell, Michelle Craig, and our entire crew, I'm Vic Crowder. Thanks for joining us. Enduroseries is here on TSN, Canada's leader in motorsports coverage